A long time ago, there were two sisters who were the best buddies in the whole wide world. They would play dolls together, have tea parties with their toys. One was Lucy the Lovely, and the other was Sally the Sweet. Besides playing with their dolls, they loved different activities. Lucy liked baseball and football, and often would go out and play some great games. Sally liked indoor activities. She played cards and read books. As they grew older, they started to grow apart. You could tell they were no longer best buddies anymore. Sally had her set of friends and Lucy with a different set. At first, they didn't mind at all that they grew apart. In fact, they hardly noticed that they were no longer BFFs. They thought it was just a normal process of growing up. But one day, Sally began to miss playing with Lucy. All those days when they would spend hours and hours having tea parties and making up stories about their toys and laughing together. So she just didn't go out with her friends. She stayed home, waiting for Lucy to come home. But when she did, Sally asked if she could hang out with Lucy. Now, both were older and were busy with school. In fact, they got a whole bunch of homework assignments from their teachers. Sally, because she wanted to play with Lucy, did all her homework right after school. But Lucy didn't do that. She went to her friend's house after school and just came home. So she needed to go do her work. Lucy said, "Sally, thanks for the invitation. I'm sorry. I have to do my homework now. Maybe later." Day after day, Sally would wait for Lucy. But every day, Lucy came home after playing with her friends and didn't make time for Sally. You can't blame her because she was not used to playing with Sally. She made her own set of friends. Sally's feelings were hurt. She didn't know what to do. A little bit of anger, a pinch of resentment, and a whole lot of disappointment just spun around her head and especially in her heart. She felt really sad. So she went back to playing with her set of friends. Then one Sunday, when Sally and Lucy's family was at church, the preacher talked about the prodigal son. The pastor said the story was not about the son, but was about the prodigal father. Sally was surprised because she thought prodigal meant someone who spent money recklessly, someone who makes a lot of mistakes. But the pastor said that the father was the prodigal one because he was generous and giving. The other meaning of prodigal is giving something on a lavish scale. Wow, Sally thought. Maybe I could be the prodigal daughter. Maybe I will be lavish towards Lucy and be good to her no matter how she treats me. So instead of being angry and resentful and disappointed, Sally tried to be generous and kind toward Lucy, no matter how she ignored her. Well, how do you think Lucy responded? Sally really tried. Well, at least for that week. It's hard. It's really hard being the prodigal daughter. But Sally never forgot that Jesus' story was about being prodigal, lavishly extravagant toward others, even though they might not deserve it. So now she calls herself Sweet Sally, the prodigal daughter. The end.